In today's video, we're going to do a foundation face-off with 14 different foundations, and I will end it by telling you my top 3. Hey everyone, this is Lisa. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Lisa Monique, where we cover all things beauty and lifestyle for the over 50 woman. Before we get started, I did want to include a short sponsored message. Okay, this portion of the video is sponsored by City Beauty, and we are going to talk about my favorite mascara, Beyond Mascara. Now, if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know that this is the mascara I use pretty much every single time you see on video. It's actually the one I use every single day while I'm at home. And the reason why I love City Beauty mascara is my eyes were getting sensitive. My rims were getting sensitive, and just blinking my eyes when I would have certain mascaras on, it would irritate the rims because they made my lashes too crunchy. They were just really stiff. And again, that started irritating my eyes. So I was looking for a mascara that I only needed to use one coat, would be really dark and black, a deep, deep black, and that also would condition my lashes because my lashes are also getting thinner as I age, and I had been using just a lash serum, and then I stopped, about 8 months ago now. I haven't used the serum, and my lashes are still long, and I still have a lot of them. They're just not as thick as they used to be. So what I do, because my lashes grow downward, so if I don't curl my lashes, it doesn't matter how thick the mascara is, you know, when they're aiming downwards, you just won't see them. So I have to curl my lashes. And then I just use a quick coat of the Beyond Mascara. Now, it is made to condition the lashes. It has I'm going to look at my little notes here. It has linden bud extract to promote thicker looking lashes by supporting the structure. So it's the volumizing effect. It has biotin, it has keratin, it has castor oil in the ingredient list, which of course is a old school formula for conditioning your lashes. It does not have parabens, mineral oils, phthalates, or sulfates. So those are what it does not have. But I don't know if you can see how quickly it just darkens my lashes. And everyone has their own techniques for putting on their mascara. I always put it on the tips first, and then I go back and brush it in from the base because my tips are the hardest to see. That's where they're the thinnest. So I always just do a brush on my tips and then I go back in. And that's all I do. I just stop with one coat day to day. But you can, if you want them to be thicker, you can go back in with a second coat. And I also like it because they don't clump. It doesn't get clumpy, but it looks like I have lashes, and it's not spiky. So it's not clumpy, it's not spiky, but it is dark from the base, the root of the lashes to the tips. Now they are having a buy one, get one free special. So if you order 2, you only pay for 1, but you'll put both in your cart, but then when you check out, you're only charged for 1. Same with you order 4, you're only going to pay for 2. So I do have a code. It's Lisa M BOGO. Put it down here. Yeah, and the promotion is going from June 22nd till June 26th. I am going to just put a little bit on my bottom lashes because it's the same. I do like to look like I have a little bit of lashes on the bottom. I do tend to just, because my lashes are long, I do this quick blink thing to get that excess mascara off, so I'm not blinking and pushing my lashes onto my skin, and I just don't want things to look too spiky. So there are the lashes, there's the mascara. Again, you know I've talked about this, even though this portion is sponsored by City Beauty, you know this is the mascara that I'm always using because it's at the end of every makeup video, I grab my Beyond mascara to apply. So I hope if you try it, you enjoy it as much as I do. Okay, so back to the regular video. But what I did was I just kind of paired similar types of foundation. These are all foundations that I've purchased since I think end of last summer. I think the earliest one was probably released in August of 2022. And so I really hadn't been doing a whole lot of foundation comparisons with more recent foundations. So I thought that's what I would do today. What we're going to do is we're just going to see a side-by-side comparison on several of the foundations. And then at the end, I will tell you what ends up being my top 3. Okay, let's do the Maruhuka Juicy Glow versus the foundation of Fund Sealer. Why is Tarte making their foundations so difficult to say? But let's compare these two first. All right, this one's 425 sand and this is 34S sand. No, this is tan sand and this is medium sand. So they are different shades. So let's check them out. All right, we'll start with the Juicy Glow. I almost forget what these foundations look like. If it's not one on my regular rotation. So it feels a little thicker than a tinted moisturizer going on. It almost feels like, you know, a CC cream. Try a little bit with the brush. Blend it down. It's a good color for me right now, I think. Maybe just slightly darker than my normal skin tone, but it blends in with my body. All right, then the Fund Sealer. This one's going to be a little bit light. Definitely a thicker foundation, definitely more coverage, and definitely the wrong shade. Part of me wonders if this one's going to be discontinued because it's so hard to find. Well, I wish this was the right shade because this has beautiful coverage with a natural finish. This one has lighter coverage and I can see where the glow's coming from. It's not necessarily because it has like an iridescent sheen or anything like that. While it's sitting on my skin, it is a dewier finish, a dewier look. I think if you have really dry skin, it would be a good choice. Okay, so based on these two, God, I really wish I had this in my shade. This coverage is exactly the coverage I want over my hyperpigmentation. So you still can see a little bit through. It's still skin-like. Might have to go and get it in another shade if I can find it. All right, between these two, this one is going to be the winner. Okay, the next foundation comparison is going to be Makeup Forever, their HD Skin Matte versus the Patrick Ta Cream Foundation and Finishing Powder. This is light medium 4, the Patrick Ta. Oh gosh, it looks too light again. It does look light. And then Makeup Forever is in 2R38. Well, this one kind of looks the same. So one's a powder, one's a cream. Okay, I'm going to go in with the cream using a foundation brush. I'll use a brush on both. Put that one on this side. Well, right away, I just feel like just make my skin look really old right here. I mean, I'm sure I'll get all the spam comments. Well, you are old. Yes, I am old. But there are makeup products that make you look less old or make your skin look better than other products. It's such a silly comment. Yeah, I'm feeling like this is not looking that nice around here. I'll try, this one is powder. I'm gonna go with a looser brush. Maybe that will not make it so heavy. Another foundation brush. Well, I feel like it doesn't have a lot of coverage, but if that's what you need, just a light coverage. I mean, it does offer some coverage. I do like using it with a brush much better than using the sponge where it came on too heavy and thick and cakey. So it is also a dry matte finish. It does have some nice coverage. It doesn't make the eye area look as crinkly though. So on these two, the Makeup Forever is the winner. Okay, the next comparison is going to be the tinted sunscreens. Let me put some lotion on my face. First tinted sunscreen, this True Botanicals is a tinted 18% zinc dioxide. It is an SPF 30, and I have the shade 10. And then I actually dug through and got an older product that I know I liked. This is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Foundation. So this is not their CC cream. This is their full coverage moisturizer. It has an SPF 50. It is a titanium dioxide and zinc oxide sunscreen. So it is a mineral sunscreen also. All right, and let's test them out. Tinted sunscreens, I just use my fingers. If I'm going to be outdoors, I'm not usually putting on a full face of makeup. Maybe I'll just put some eye makeup on, but then I'll use something like this, which I feel like is it's a sunscreen that has a little tint versus a foundation, putting everything else on top. Now this, even though this is a tinted sunscreen, I still feel like they're more foundations than, let's just say, my Dermatology tinted sunscreen, which has very, very little coverage. I feel like these provide a nice light coverage, and I know this one provides good coverage too. Now going on, the IT moisturizer, or moisturizing sunscreen, I need to put a little bit more, is thinner. It is lighter going on. I think the shade is also lighter. It's not as good of a shade as this one. The True Botanicals is a really good shade for me. I actually like them both as far as I think they both give some nice coverage. Again, this one's SPF 50, this is SPF 30. I think the amount of sun you get is negligible, or extra protection you get is negligible between the 30 and 50. I will tell you the one I reach for is the True Botanicals because, I don't know, I just like the way it makes my skin look. Because I feel like it doesn't look like I have makeup on. It looks kind of that glow just because of the sunscreen. I don't know. I do like them both, but if I had to pick one, I'm still going to pick my True Botanicals because that is the one that I reach for over the Bye Bye Foundation. But if you have a lot of discoloration or a lot of things that you're trying to cover on your face, maybe a lot of melasma that you really want to keep out of the sun, well, the best way to keep it out of the sun is to avoid the sun. But if you live in an area where you know you're going to be outdoors, like I was at a tennis tournament, it doesn't matter how many hats you wear, the rays are still bouncing up off the ground. the Bye Bye foundation has, I think, a little bit more coverage. I guess when it comes down to it, the True Botanical side, it feels like a sunscreen. I really feel that 18% zinc oxide. I feel like my skin is protected. The Bye Bye foundation moisturizer, even though it's the 9% titanium dioxide and 6.3% zinc oxide, it definitely feels more like a foundation. So I guess it really depends what you like on your face. Okay, so this is day 2 of the foundation comparison. Because I can't wash my face that often in a single day because it gets really irritated. But today I'm going to compare some full coverage foundations that I liked the past 6 to 8 months. One was a KVD Good Apple, and this one is in shade, gosh, I think it was 063. I can barely read this. 063 Tan, yes. And then the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop Full Coverage Foundation, and this one is also in Classic Tan. So I am going to use beauty blenders for full coverage foundation. These are damp beauty blenders just because I like it to be a little more sheer. I'm going to put this on both sides. Just when I'm using full coverage foundations, I like my skin to be a little more glowy. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury Glow Toner, but again, if your skin is freshly moisturized or you use any sort of serum or anything like that before you put on a full coverage foundation, it will help it look better on the. Put a little bit on the back of my hand. We'll do this side first. So I said that I was going to use a sponge, but I'm going to blend it out with my fingers first so I can really get a feel for the type of coverage and then blend it down with the sponge. Okay, I remember why I like it. It is a very lightweight full coverage foundation. I almost feel like I don't need to go over it with a damp beauty blender. Usually my fingers are the thickest, heaviest as far as getting coverage, but boy, I think that looks really good. I'm going to leave it alone, just with my fingers. And it's drying down, not to feel too dry, but kind of that feeling like it's going to be transfer proof. It doesn't feel like you have foundation sitting on your face. I will admit, I have not put this on in a long time, but it is very, very nice. Let's try the Good Apple. So this one is definitely feels a little thicker blending in. But boy, I could probably do a dupe video on these two. I feel like this one is also starting to dry down. It's a little hard for me to tell because the Good Apple is a shade darker, so I see it more on the skin. Yeah, they both feel like they're drying down to be that transfer proof type foundation. Okay, not a dupe video, but when I do a dupe video, I might put these two side by side. I would say if I had to pick one, then it probably would be the NYX because it's cheaper. Okay, my next pairing is going to be kind of the dewier finishes. So I've got my Makeup by Mario, and this is in the 13W. This is the Surreal Skin, and versus the Dior Forever Skin Glow, which, you know, the Dior has been kind of my number one as far as medium coverage foundations. But I really do like this too. Usually, once I find a foundation in the right shade, That's what I wear until a new foundation comes out, and then I kind of switch things over. So let's just see how this is going. Now this is 3.5N. I know this is going to be a little bit light. I think my shade is 3W now. Okay, it does have a fragrance. Those that don't like the fragrance, they're not going to like it. It just feels like a luxurious fragrance to me. So a lot of the luxury brands have really fresh fragrances. And since fragrance does not irritate my skin, I really enjoy them. Okay, I can see why I love it. I only used half of the pump, so the one pump would easily cover the whole face. It kind of has that, moisturizing foundation feel, a typical liquid foundation feel. It didn't dry down, let's say, like some of these, the NYX or the KVD. All right, my Makeup by Mario, 13W. Ooh, one pump is a lot. I probably put way too much. Yeah, I barely used any and it covered the whole face. I think half a pump would do my whole face. Okay, well, I think these are pretty much kind of close dupes for each other too, which explains why I like them both so much. They are more hydrating foundations. My skin feels really hydrated, so it would be really good for the drier skin types. They both have just a light, natural glow that kind of keeps it looking like freshly moisturized skin. I will admit, I would have a hard time saying which foundation was which foundation without smelling it. So I could tell by the fragrance. But the coverage, very, very similar to me. I mean, it really makes a lot of sense because I do love these both very much. Okay, next I'm going to try the new Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation that I just purchased a week or two ago that I've really been enjoying versus the Revlon Illuminance Skin Caring Foundation. So these are both, I think, that newer foundations that come with skin loving ingredients. And so let's check out how they are with coverage. We'll start with the Laura Mercier. I mean, this goes on like a dream. It just feels like you're just rubbing in a serum. It is so lightweight and it just glides over your skin. I love the application of this one. Oh, and that is a beautiful, beautiful finish. Again, that's just with fingers. I mean, I could tap it down with a brush. Really pretty. It's a light sheer foundation. Let's try and put a little bit more. See if I can build it up. We'll just put it on a little bit more with the brush right here. And on my nose. Yes, it definitely is buildable. I feel like I have a little bit too much in this area right here. I'll kind of press a little bit off. There's my stands out there. So I would press off my extra foundation. There's my stands out. Feels really nice. Okay, this is going to be versus the Revlon Illuminance. Not as thin going on. But still goes on nicely. Try a different brush. Just build it up right here. same, that second coat. It covered up the hyperpigmentation really nice. Skin feels very similar on both sides, not unlike a typical liquid foundation. But these are both lightweight liquid foundations, so I do like the way they feel on my skin. Let's look up close. I think the Revlon Illuminance has a little more glow to it. It would be interesting to compare it to something like the Makeup by Mario or the Dior Glow, because it feels like it's a little glowier than the Laura Mercier side. Yeah, if I had to do a face-off, I would probably put this one next to one of these. And then I would put the Laura Mercier next to my True Match as far as finishes. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to do another video. But so even though I think the Revlon Illuminance might be comparable to the Makeup by Mario or the Dior Skin Glow as far as finish, when I'm comparing it with these two, the Laura Mercier and the Revlon, I actually prefer the Laura Mercier a little more. It just seems a little more even. I think I like this finish more. It feels healthy and moisturized, but with a little less glow. Okay, my next pair-offs will be two drugstore brands. It's going to be the L'Oreal True Match, the new reformulated version, versus the Makeup Revolution IRL filter. I already know this. They're different finishes, so it's not going to be the easiest one to compare, but we'll get started with the True Match in W6. I'm so glad that they put a pump on the new formulation. Okay, well, I'm applying it. It does go on like a serum, actually. Kind of reminds me of the Laura Mercier. This might be a dupe video to test out. Yeah, it goes on very light and thin, like a serum foundation. Very nice, even coverage, and it is a natural finish. This one is thicker, IRL filter. It's a breathable, soft matte, which is more of a full coverage finish. Because I just used it in a new foundation video, I also know that it's not a flat matte. This soft matte really does allow some skin to show through, but golly, it does a really good job of covering. Yeah. Whereas I like the initial IRL coverage better, I am noticing it is shifting into my lines a little bit. I mean, I noticed just a little bit on this line. Okay, this one's a little tougher for me because I did see some shifting. This is one of the only foundations that I actually saw shifting into some of my fine lines already. I am still going to give it to the True Match only because of the foundation shifting into the fine lines. Okay, I needed to film my summary again, but I am going to give you my top five favorite foundations out of the 14 that I tried. A lot of my order depends on the ones I reach for day to day for things that work on my skin. So your needs might be a little bit different. I think really, except for maybe two of them, which would have been the IRL because the foundation kind of moved, and then the, was it the cream foundation or the powder foundation that I thought looked really cakey. But other than that, I think all of these foundations work really well, and I can see why I have liked them all in the past. But we're going to start. In 5th place is the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop. This is a full coverage foundation. It's transfer proof, Really, really lovely. I just normally don't need a full coverage foundation, which is why it's not a little bit higher on my list. Fourth place would be the Makeup by Mario. I went back and forth between this and my Dior, which you know I love, but I felt like the glow and the way it sits on the skin is very similar. They both are long wearing. This one is a little bit lighter, I think, than the Dior, and it's 20-something dollars cheaper. So I went for the cheaper option, and that's kind of the same thing when I did the NYX. I went for the cheaper option than what I considered the dupe. L'Oreal True Match, number 3, still right in the middle. This has been a favorite of mine for a long, long time. Even the new formulation is still a favorite of mine. Number 2 is the True Botanicals tinted sunscreen, because it is just the right amount of sunscreen. I feel like I have sunscreen on. I've been outdoors all day with this on and have not had sunburns or any like new really dark spots or anything like that. So I feel like I get a lot of protection, but it does even out my skin tone. So it's a perfect thing to wear like if you're going to a barbecue or, you know, doing something outdoors, but you just want your skin to look a little bit more even. The True Botanicals. And then my number 1 is this Laura Mercier, the Weightless Perfecting Foundation. I just love how lightweight it is. It's what I'm wearing now. It's pretty much what I've been wearing every day, just because it is a little more humid in Tennessee, and I feel like it sits really well on my skin, and it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't get really shiny. So I've really been enjoying this one. These are the results of my foundation face-off. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let me know if you have a favorite that I didn't list here. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.